What up, peeps? It's your boy, Church Boy, back again with another video just for you. How y'all doing? Hopefully you guys are doing well out there, man. Yo, I forgot who sent me this video here, but I received the alert the other day that Tom created a new song here, and I wanted to check it out. So thanks for sending it to me. I forgot your name. I do apologize, but I have it queued up here. And of course, you guys know Tom is my favorite artist, man. This guy is incredible. But Tom, one thing I don't like about Tom, man, and I've said it numerous times, he makes me think and talk about things that I really don't want to think and talk about. You know, man, he just does that. Oh man. But I'm a super duper Tom fan, and I want to know where he's going with this. The title of this song is called Can't Cancel All of Us, and knowing Tom, or knowing what I know about Tom, he's going to go in, you know. So without further ado, here's Tom MacDonald performing Can't Cancel All of Us. Let's do this.
They told me, be a man, boy, toughen up. Then they let women become men, they tricked me. They told me, speak your mind if you're brave enough. And I spoke up and I got canceled quickly. We were always too young and too nice, and now we're too old and too white. You're either too left or too right. Well, we're speaking our minds tonight. 'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side. And you can't cancel all of us, we'll burn the stars and the stripes. But you can't cancel all of us,
Roseanne.
'cause the internet ain't real.
Okay.
They told me.
Okay. All right. Roseanne. Roseanne was canceled herself. I think I talked about Roseanne's cancellation there in their video. I think it was called Daddy's Home. I think it was the song that Roseanne was in with him. But yeah. Tom is spitting. He is spitting once again, man. Tom, he is not afraid. This guy's not afraid, man. He does not care about speaking his mind, man. This song is in A. I like the key of A. The progressions, because there are two progressions that they're doing. The progressions are very common in gospel music. I don't care what y'all say to me or about me. I know I equate everything to gospel music. I'm a gospel musician. I've been involved in church my whole life. And these two riffs right here, these are gospel to me. These are gospel riffs, all right? And they're in the key of A, and I want to play it. I played these riffs numerous times. I want to play it right now. To me, they're gospel, all right? You can call it what you want, but they're in A, so they're... And that's the verse, you know. But when they go to the hook, when they say you can't cancel all of us, they do something slightly different. They're basically interchangeable. They're like this. Yeah, it's very, very, very similar. They are interchangeable, but it's a very easy listening riff. It's a riff that I believe it's easy to listen to. It's easy to write to. It's very comfortable to vibe out to. I love that riff. One of my favorite riffs to play of all time. We play it almost every week in church. I think one of our songs of the week in church is I think it may be I'm a Friend of God, which is very, very, very similar to this riff here. But yeah, man. Tom is on one. Let's let him continue on.
Be a man, boy, just like your dad. Then told me everything I am is toxic. They said the color of your skin doesn't make you bad, but mine makes me racist. Got it. We were always too weak and too afraid.
Okay. All right. I got to pause it again. Forget that. Yes. See, what he just said there reminds me of a friend that I have. And I don't call many people a friend, but I have a friend. His name is Flamin' Damon. All right. He's a white guy. All right. We called him Flamin' Damon because he has red hair. And when we used to play basketball back when we were like 16, 17, 18, Flamin' Damon was one of the greatest shooters I've ever seen. When I first played basketball with Flamin' Damon, I was like, there's no way. He made like 5, 6 threes in a row, and he was consistent. You couldn't leave him open. So he was always red hot, always flaming hot. So that's where he got the name Flamin' Damon. But Flamin' Damon is a white guy, like I stated a couple seconds ago, but he is extremely opinionated politically. Like when it comes to politics, he doesn't hesitate speaking his mind, especially on social media. So being a white guy and him being highly opinionated on social media when it comes to politics and having so many black friends, when he voices his stance concerning politics, a lot of black people he knows, they deem him as a racist, and even though they kind of know him, maybe they don't know him like I know him, but if you knew Flamin' Damon, he's not a racist. He just has a strong political stance. He believes in, working hard and basically pulling yourself up by the bootstraps, and you basically get what you work for, earn every dollar you make. And that's what he believes in. But when you spew that message out to a certain group of people, he's like, he's a racist. It's like, he's not, man. He just believes in hard work, just like everyone else. I believe the same way. I believe in you get what you work for. Nothing in life is free. And if something in life does come free, you make sure you appreciate the person who gifted that certain thing to you. But yeah, what Tom just said reminded me of Flamin' Damon. I'm rambling. I'm gonna let Tom continue on.
And too straight, you're either too real or too fake. Well, we're speaking our minds today. 'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side. And you can't cancel all of us, we'll burn the stars in the stripes.
Was that Mike Rowe? Was that Mike Rowe? I think it was Mike Rowe. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm tripping.
But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause the internet ain't real life.
That's the pawn shop guy. That guy on the left, that was the Pawn Stars guy in Vegas. Yeah. He lost a little bit of weight. Okay. All right. All right. Tom has some stars in this video. I like it.
You can take my job away for something I may have said online, but you can't control a man who won't comply. And you can call me every name that you might think will hurt my pride, but if you think you're stopping me, you're out your mind. 'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side.
I like that truck.
And you can't cancel all of us, we'll burn the stars in the stripes. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause the internet ain't real life.
That last guy they just showed, I think he's a comedian. I love stand-up comedy, and I'm pretty sure that last guy's a comedian.
'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side.
Okay. All right, Tom. All right. Dang. What do we say about Tom? What do we say about this guy, man? He makes it extremely difficult, man, to react to his music, man, because he knows how to make people feel uncomfortable. in this world where everyone is easily cancelable, like it's, dang, Tom. Tom is something else, and he makes me think of another situation where I was young. Let me tell you about being canceled, all right? Because let me tell you this quick story, man. I met these twin brothers when I was 16. I worked at Burger King. For a little while, all right? And when I was working at Burger King, I met these twin brothers, all right? They're white guys. and we became friends like super duper fast. And for years we've been friends. I mean, still friends to this day. All right. They're twin brothers. And after hanging out for a long period of time, and I left Burger King and I worked somewhere else, we still hang out. All right. We were still young. We were like 20. All right. And, you know, one of the twins, they called me one day and they were like, hey, you want to come out to my granddad's house? You know, and I was like, where is it? And he told me where it was. I was like, man, I've never been out there. You know, is any black people out there? And he was like, I doubt it. So I was like, yeah, come pick me up, you know? So he pulls up and we go out to far out from where I am. And we pull up to his granddad's house and he introduces me to his granddad. Nice guy, nice individual. And within 10 minutes of me meeting his granddad asked me where I lived, you know? And I was like, yeah, I live over here. And he stepped back and he looked at me. He was like, you live there? And he shook his head. He says, no offense, but you people really ruined that neighborhood. And one of the twins was like, Granddad, you can't say that, you know? And I was like, it's okay. It's all right. And there was this awkward silence, you know? And he apologized. And I was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. He didn't mean anything by it, but I know what he meant. All right. He didn't say it with malice or hate in his heart, but I sat back and I thought about it. I thought about it all day. I thought about it all weekend. I thought about it for weeks. And I was like, was he wrong? Was he wrong in saying that? Because this area that we were talking about, that I lived in, it was one of the worst areas. Still is one of the worst areas in my city. One of the worst areas. It is the worst area in my city. But after he made that statement there, he went into detail as to how and why that neighborhood changed for the worse. And I already knew this history, but it was kind of cool hearing it from his perspective. You know, things happen in that neighborhood. There were some government subsidies. There were some government tax breaks and incentives to move other people in that upscale neighborhood. And then slowly but surely it turned into the hood, you know? And it was kind of cool to hear it from his perspective because he grew up in that neighborhood like in the 40s, 50s, 60s. He watched the neighborhood go from something to nothing. He watched the neighborhood go from desired to dangerous, you know, and he was disappointed. And he wasn't taking a shot at me. I believe he wasn't taking a shot at me when he said that to me, but he was just like, man, he said, I wish you guys could have handled that better, you know. And that's one thing he said to me during that conversation, and I think about it often, you know. And this video made me think about that conversation I had with my friend's grandpop, you know. And I was just like, one thing I couldn't do, I couldn't say that he was wrong. I couldn't say that he was wrong. He was right. But in that moment, when he made that statement, I could have gotten offended. I could have been pissed. I could have gotten all in my feelings, and I didn't. I didn't at all. It was just, I had guidance from a real dad who told me how to communicate with people. And this guy was willing to have a conversation with me about that. And I obliged him. Let's have the conversation. And we had that conversation, that uncomfortable conversation, and we both walked away comfortable. We both had the conversation. Now, if I was very sensitive, if I was a sensitive individual and easily offended, I would have stormed out of that house, you know, but I didn't. We had a conversation. We had a meal, you know, and we had some laughs, and it was cool. But he said what he had to say. He was an older gentleman. There was no cancel culture, you know, and up until the day he died, I respected this individual. I love this guy. You know, he was real. He didn't shy away from what he was thinking or feeling. And I respect that about humanity. I respect that. Within that same neighborhood that he was speaking of, A few short years later, I bought a house in that same neighborhood. I bought a house in that same neighborhood because it was cheap. All right? I bought a house. A couple months after I bought the house, you know, I had a baby. And, you know, my girlfriend at the time, which is my wife right now, we were living in sin, but we had a baby. All right. And I got the cheapest house, you know, kind of a nice cheapest house on the market. Moved into the house. I loved it there. But one day I invited my friends over to watch the fight. Are we watching some boxing? And we were all watching the fight. And then next thing you know, outside the house, we hear a bunch of machine guns, like 2 or 3 machine guns, a bunch of shooting. And I yell, get down, get down. And all my friends get on the floor, you know, and just for a couple minutes, we're on the floor and we're scared. You know, we're afraid. And I was shook up. I was shook up, man. And as I was laying on the ground, I thought about that man's comments. I thought about what he said. It came back to me, you know, and I was shook up. I was mad. I had a baby here. That same night, I said, we're buying a new house. We're getting a new house. We'll sell this house. We get a new house. All right. This house is over with. I'm done. I'm not living in this neighborhood anymore. But the man was right. The neighborhood went kaput. The neighborhood was trash. And I remember as a kid where there were incentives to move people to that neighborhood, like people who couldn't afford to live in that neighborhood. And I guess that's the downside of those types of incentives, you know. That's the downside of it, because a good neighborhood like that, like I can't say it's prestigious, you know, but it was a solid neighborhood, a good family neighborhood turned into the hood. And I had to admit that guy was right. He was right, man. And I don't believe it was racist. I don't believe it was mean. I don't think he had any ill intent. I believe he just seized the moment, saw a black guy, found out I was from that neighborhood, and he wanted to discuss the downfall of that neighborhood. And I think about that all the time. And this song makes me think about that individual and when he brought that up to me, because I could have been offended and I didn't get offended. I decided to have the conversation and we enjoyed being out there for hours. I didn't want to leave. It was fun. But this song makes me think about that guy, man. But let me know what y'all think. I like the song. Tom is always cooking. Tom is very, very versatile. He raps, he sings, plays guitar, shoots his own videos. What artist is doing this? What artist is doing this? No other artist, just him. And this is why he's atop my list of every other artist, because he's so extremely talented and he's not tethered to any type of record label. I respect this guy. I respect him. But let me know what y'all think. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But above anything else, love each other. Take care of each other. Peace. God bless.